What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another podcast episode of myself and with one of my favorite guests that's going to be joining us in just a second. I'm about to bring them up. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things today. We're going to be talking things from SmackDown to WrestleMania to potentially the Liv Morgan situation with her injury and what that could mean and where that could potentially lead to, and a whole bunch of other things as well. So I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to bring up the guest now, one of the most underrated content creators in the wrestling space, a person that I consider my brother, my tag team partner, Mo Rated M Wrestling. What's good?
What up? What up?
Welcome
What up?
back. Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you taking the time of your day for you to come through and talk wrestling.
Yes,
Um,
sir. Yes,
I think
sir.
the last time we touched base was before Money in the Bank, and a lot of things happened. I mean, Seth Rollins won Money in the Bank. Unfortunately, I don't think that was the best decision, but that's neither here or there. Should have been LA Knight. Let's be honest. I think we
Yeah.
both in agreement LA Knight should have won.
Yep.
And then Natalia, I'm not Natalia. Naomi won. Naomi was the right person to win it. I think if anybody else were to win it, maybe you could have got with Roxanne. I think those were the two favorites to
Yeah.
potentially win that. But we're on the road to literally Night of Champions, and we're on the road to Evolution. A lot of things have happened since then. I mean, looks like Liv Morgan was a heavily featured part of Evolution and SummerSlam and Night of Champions because it was rumored that she was supposed to be taking on Io Sky at that show for the championship. But that's no
Mm-hmm.
longer the case at this point because now we did get word that she will be missing up to 7 months of in-ring action, meaning her return won't be until like January at the earliest, or whether that's mid or early January, we don't know. But I'm going to go over a lot of these different names. We have a lot of names that are currently out on the injury list, and it's crazy, Mo. There's Tonga
Let's hear
Loa,
it.
Chad Gable, Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, Liv Morgan, Don Mysterio, Ilya Dragunov, Tama Tonga, Zoe Stark, Otis, Bianca Belair, Rey Mysterio, Big E, Apollo Cruz, and El Grande Americano, all injured right now. That's a
I didn't
lot of
realize it was
names.
that bad. What the hell?
It is really bad. Like, all of these have which kind of taken place this year. And it's like all of these have happened this year. We have 15 injuries within this like 6 month period that we've had from January up until this point. 15 injuries. That's crazy.
And what's crazy too is they don't do house shows like they used to. Like
No,
I don't remember the last time I heard anything about a house show. So it's like,
no.
how are they getting more rest and then getting more injured? Like that's just this is like some 2015 shit. Because if y'all remember 2015, like folks was getting injured left and right, and it was always like top stars too. Like Cena went
Hmm.
down, Orton went down, Cesaro went down. Like it was Brian went down. It was bad.
Yeah, and this was like 2015 going into 2016 because we had WrestleMania 32, and a lot of these wrestlers were supposed to be part of that show, like Randy Orton, John Cena. I think they were even considering doing John Cena in a match with potentially Bray Wyatt or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. But they said he was injured or whatever the case was, so they couldn't do that. It's
Yeah,
kind of crazy. It was the injury bug really hit back in those days, and it's like hitting all over again. But it's
yeah.
like it sucks when you have a lot of top talent in this field, like whether if it's from a tag team like the Tongans, who I think should be coming back roughly very soon. But Chad Gable just went out recently with an injury. It's undisclosed how long he's going to be out. Drew McIntyre, they said he might not even be making SummerSlam this year. He might not be coming back until after SummerSlam. Kevin Owens, I mean, I don't think he's got surgery yet, and he's not coming back until maybe 2027 or 2028. Ilya
Yeah.
Dragunov is going to be coming back soon. Zoe Stark just run out. Bianca should be coming back in the next couple of months. Apollo just went out. Big E's been out for years. Rey Mysterio should be coming back soon. And then Liv Morgan is probably been, I'm going to be honest, Liv Morgan's probably been one of the MVPs of the women's division right now of this
Yep.
entire year. Because, like, the fact it shows that WWE has a lot of faith in her, at least in the sense of how much she could be a focal point of the women's division. But what do you think of the Liv Morgan injury? Like, were you surprised by it or what?
Yeah, injuries. You never know, man. Injuries is just like we seen it in the NBA on Sunday with Tyrese Halliburton. Like they
Hmm.
dead ass come out of nowhere, and you can't plan for them. You just can't plan for them. And when I first saw it, I didn't notice it at first until
Hmm.
like the replay, and I was like, oh, like the shoulders, that's out. Like it's out.
Yeah.
And like I've had like a dislocation before, but that was my knee, and that takes
Hmm.
like 6 months to not 6 months, 6 weeks to recover from.
Hmm.
That the way it was popped out, and then oh man, I was like, nah, this is gonna be a while, and it's
Yeah.
bad because considering they had just started something with Nikki Bella on, well, on Raw, what was that, 2 weeks ago,
Yeah, 2 weeks
and
ago. Hmm.
and now they can't even do that. I think they were gonna do some sort of tag thing. It was probably gonna be Raquel and Liv against Nikki and Rhea, which would have been something, but now like that's out of the picture, and it sucks. That sucks.
It really does, because like she has been putting in a lot of work in the women's division. So she's came back. I think this last year and a half, she's been absolutely killing it. I know a lot of people may not have been the biggest fans of her, but she has definitely stepped up her game in promos, even in the ring. Like she's definitely been able to hold her own. And I think it kind of sucks. Like she just came back literally last year from injury for like 7 months after having a issue with her arm and stuff like that. So it's like
Yeah.
a year later, she's going back down with the same injury. But I think there were reports that were saying that, I think according to Fightful, that she could be coming back, but they won't have her in the ring. She'll pretty much be like a manager, kind of. That they're still kind of debating that. I could see them doing that, but I think this puts the Judgment Day storyline kind of, I wouldn't say on the back burner, but they're definitely going to have to pivot with a couple of things as far as the direction they're going to go and the ultimate goal that they wanted. And it's crazy to think, I was looking at the some stats regarding the Judgment Day, at least for Finn Balor. This is crazy. Back in 2017 with Finn Balor, he won 91 singles matches. And in 2025, he hasn't won any singles matches.
You
What do we
lying?
do? I'm
You
not
lying?
lying. He In 2025, he's won zero singles matches. All of the matches he's won this year have been tag matches. Has he got the pin? This is crazy, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, bro. What, what has happened to Finn Balor? Finn Balor used to
No
be a beast, and now
way.
yo, you take.
No way,
I mean,
bro.
you take WrestleMania consideration. You take the Rumble in consideration. He couldn't get into Money in the Bank. He couldn't win. He couldn't even qualify for King of the Ring. The
This
man
is
couldn't even win.
bad, yo.
This is terrible. 2017, he won 91 matches. 2016, he came up and beat both Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. And in 2025, he can't win against anybody. And then apparently, right now, he's about to go back in the tag division because him and JD have a tag match for the tag titles on Monday.
Someone said Prince, not Prince Devitt, Prince Defeat. Oh,
Oh, hey, yo. Okay. That's crazy. Prince
Michael, you got it,
defeated.
bro. You got it, bro. You got it, bro. Nah,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. At
that's
this rate, I wouldn't.
bad.
I'm not gonna be surprised if Raquel gets a singles victory this coming Saturday before Finn Balor gets one.
Honestly, like
Because
oh
it's
my
bad.
god, what
Finn
happened,
Balor,
bro?
Finn Balor is one of the best workers in the company. Like,
Still, yeah, still.
and what makes it worse though, he re-signed a contract that locks him into the company until like 2028 or 2029.
I guess he just enjoys taking the pin. I don't. At this point, it's like, gang,
I mean, when that money's good, when the money's good, I guess you just
you'll do anything.
you do
You'll do anything.
you'll do anything. But it really does go back to what we were saying. It sucks for Liv because she was definitely going to be doing something interesting. I think they said they were going to do Liv and Io at Night of Champions, her and Nikki and Brie for the tag titles at Evolution, and I think they said they were going to potentially do something at SummerSlam, was going to be a mixed tag with Finn and uh, Roxanne versus Liv and Dom. That was supposed to be the play, but that's no longer the case anymore.
Yeah, that's out now.
So, what do you think this Judgment Day story goes? What do you think happens with Liv when she returns?
I think. Well, one thing I've been thinking about, I think they probably end up bringing Liv back as a face. I don't know how you really keep her heel at this point.
No.
With the Judgment Day, now they're kind of in a limbo, but it seems like they have some direction because of what they did on Monday with Roxanne helping Raquel actually win. So what I could see, potentially, they just take Liv's side of the tag titles and give it to Roxanne, and that's what starts the tension when she comes back. Now, in terms of Finn and Dom, you can still do what they're doing. Obviously, Liv won't really be that involved in it, but it's, I don't know. I've been personally wanting them to end the Judgment Day for a while. Like,
Yeah.
I'm done
I,
with it. Wrap it up.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things. It's kind of ran its course. I think we've seen too many iterations of it anyway. I mean,
Yeah,
I would say one thing that the Germany has been good at is getting somebody in the group over or re-establishing themselves. I mean, we've seen Damien really take his career to the next level by being a part of the Germany. Rhea Ripley, we've seen Liv Morgan coming in. We've been seeing Dominic coming in. All got those people have elevated themselves. Even like with Raquel, like she's starting to get some momentum behind her after we've been seeing. And I could see
yeah,
Roxanne and like Raquel getting buddy buddy because people don't understand before Raquel and Liv were cool. Roxanne and Raquel were cool back going back to NXT. I think 2.0
oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
when Roxanne first came in. Raquel was the first person that took a liking to her, and then if you went, I think it was during the Cora Jade and Roxanne feud, they did like your pick your poison, where Cora picked Rhea and Roxanne picked Roxanne. So
yep,
we seen them do that a couple of while back, so they could add that into the story. Me personally, I do think she will come back as a face. I think she was getting face reactions even before she got injured. We were already seeing it. I
yep,
mean, look at the pop that she had when she first came back from filming the movie. That crowd went bananas. Just and you can even see the crowd. You just heard the crowd. Just
yeah.
imagine what's gonna happen when she comes back. Because I think they're gonna have her come back at the Royal Rumble. I'm gonna make a bold prediction. I think by the end of the year, I think if Io gets past potentially Asuka's champ and maybe Rhea, because I don't think Rhea should be the one to take the title from Io, in my personal opinion. Even though
Yeah.
I don't really like Io's reign right now, they haven't really been doing anything with her. But if they do this correctly, I think we see a situation by the end of 2025. Roxanne becomes your new women's world champion. I think that'd be the best way to do it. Have her become your women's world champion. I think maybe if they depend on how they do this, if they do have the Bella Twins come in, maybe they do take the titles from them. But the bond between Raquel and Roxanne is still solid. You have pretty much Raquel do what she was doing for Liv, but doing it for Roxanne, being the bodyguard, and
Yeah.
then you have Roxanne win the Women's World Championship, and this is going to cause even more friction because you know how Finn Balor's been planting the seeds, and he's going to use that as ammunition to throw shade at Liv because, like, oh, you're at home, Roxanne's here, she's champion, she was tag team champion, and then what you do, you have Liv come back, but not as just your regular babyface. She comes back as a more edgy babyface, similar to what she did in I think 2022 when she first lost the championship
Oh yeah, yeah,
um
yeah, yeah,
to Ronda Rousey, where she was unhinged.
yep.
Have her come back with that kind of gimmick, and what do? I think you have her come back at the Royal Rumble and you have her win. I think you have her win the Royal Rumble,
I can
and you
see
do
that.
Roxanne and you do Liv at Mania, and you can still be doing the Judgment Day stuff, but you could tell the story even when they do the story. Liv is not really on good terms with anybody in the Judgment Day, not even Dom. And Dom
Right.
pretty much turns face fully, aligning with potentially Liv at WrestleMania. I think that'd be a great way to finish that storyline and cap off the Judgment Day storyline altogether. I think that'd be the perfect way to do that. And then you could potentially have Rhea come back. Maybe they do something in the lead up to WrestleMania. You could do like a tag match with Raquel and Roxanne versus Liv and Rhea for one night. Liv and Rhea could be on the same page for one night, similar to what they did with Cody and Roman at Bad Blood. I
Right.
think that'd be the
Right.
perfect way to do that. They don't have to be friends because they don't like each other. I mean, it just sucks. It sucks to be sitting here saying Liv is injured when she was having the height of her career, and you said it correctly. Like you can't plan for a lot of these injuries to happen. It's like a lot of these moves that you see people get injured from are the transitional moves that you see people do a
Our normal
thousand
moves.
times.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not
Yep.
these table matches. It's not these table finishers or going through the ladder or anything like that. It's these moves that we see normal on a day-to-day basis, like the arm drag,
Yep.
like it's frog splashes, anything like that. And then, but I we hope that she does come back and she is healthier than ever because, yeah, she's definitely going to be missed because she was a huge focal point of your women's division. But
Yeah. She
yeah,
was definitely starting to win me back as a fan too, because she was in ring, especially like from the tag match that she had with I believe it was Bianca and Naomi before the Chamber. She was the MVP of that match. She was the MVP of the Chamber itself. Like in ring wise, she was starting to uplift her game, and I think a lot of so initially my resentment towards Liv was I felt like she didn't have enough of a character before she turned heel. I didn't feel like she had enough of a character,
hmm
and also her fans annoyed the hell out of me. But then she turned
yeah,
heel, and then she started to get more interesting. And then the Rhea feud happened, and that feud was, let's be honest, dog shit. And
yeah,
then from there, once she separated from Rhea, we could actually see, okay, like Liv is actually like overall as a performer just improved completely. So it's kind of hard for me to hate anymore. Like she was starting to win me back. So yeah, it does suck to see her get out, but I think in the long run, I think it will benefit her as a star. So
Yeah, because she's gonna be a face. I just can't see WWE bringing her back as a heel, especially with knowing how much of a pop she's gonna get, especially in Saudi. People don't understand. She's one of the most over wrestlers in Saudi. If you want to be honest, she's pretty much the Sami Zayn of the women's division in Saudi. Like,
yeah,
honestly,
she gets a good reaction.
we and a lot of her biggest moments, believe it or not, have happened in Saudi. Like, she
This is
won the
true.
women's championship from Becky last year. She won the Crown Jewel championship in Saudi. Like, and one thing people don't understand, she has some really standout performance even in the Rumble. Like, this year, she lasted an hour. Last year, she lasted no, last year she came back. She lasted maybe like 15 minutes, and then the year before that, she lasted like an hour and 6 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's like she's almost like the Iron Woman of these matches. So I can see them bringing her back as an Iron Man, but I think they probably would bring her back in the mid 20s, bring her back at a number nobody's won from, and then so she can kind of hide that ring rust a little bit because she's probably gonna have it.
Of
So I
course.
think you
Yeah.
kind of do that, but I do think should be an early favorite in a lot of people's minds to potentially win that Royal Rumble. I think you just don't have her be runner up these last few Rumbles and Chambers and then not have it pay off in some way, shape, or form. So
Yeah.
I look at this as a blessing in disguise for her because she could come back bigger and better. Yeah, she was at the final two with Rhea in 2023. I wouldn't be surprised
23.
if
Yeah.
that. I feel like they're gonna do a callback. Have your two biggest stars in your women's division right now as the final two in the Rumble next year. Have Rhea and Liv probably be your final two, or maybe you could do Liv and Charlotte, maybe Liv and Becky, maybe you could do a Liv and a Stephanie McCool or something. You could, I don't know, do something interesting.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
I do think that's what they're gonna do. But another thing we got to talk about is WrestleMania. We know WrestleMania will be in Las Vegas next year. Unfortunately, I was looking forward to it being in New Orleans. I was considering putting all the money I could to make that happen, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's not the case. But here's the caveat: so we know Royal Rumble is going to be in Saudi next year. I don't know how I feel about that. It's going to be 12 o'clock. Watching the Rumble at 12 noon. Okay, it is what it is.
I know I'm gonna be working, so
I mean, the Saudi right this year only gets one show, and it's already being tainted because of everything going on right now.
yeah, yeah.
And people are not even really considering showing up, and I don't blame them considering everything that's going on. If I was in their position, I'd be like, you know what, y'all can have it. Y'all can have that money. I'll stay home. At least I
Right.
know I can make it to the. I can make it to my house and go across town without worrying about anything. I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm good. But for the people that are going, I mean, I hope that everybody remains safe and they can make it to and from safely. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I heard there was a
it's
ceasefire, so luckily there's some, there's some level
Yeah.
of sanity.
hopefully. But then we know that WrestleMania, and I think I told you this before. So apparently WWE is considering the idea of having WrestleMania be held twice a year in the coming years. So we're going to have two WrestleManias a year. And WWE is considering this because Saudi Arabia, the Saudi Arabian government would throw a lot of money just for them to do that. And here's the crazy thing. There are two WrestleManias. One that they're going to have in the States and the other will be held in Saudi Arabia. What are we doing? The one thing WrestleMania is known for is I'm good with it being 2 nights. Don't get me wrong. But the thing with
Right.
WrestleMania, it's only once a year. That's what makes it even more important. A lot of these shows have lost its importance and relevance because it's overexposed. They do it so much to the point it's like it doesn't feel special anymore. Like Royal Rumble used to be is special. Survivor Series to an extent is special, but
Yeah.
WrestleMania has always been that pay-per-view
Number
or
one
PLE,
show.
that number one show. But now you're diminishing its importance by having it twice a year. The
That
best
is-
thing WWE's did was made WrestleMania 2 nights. Fine. More digestible for a wrestling fan. And then now you're going to give it to us twice a year? I'm cool. But think of, you know what? It will make it worse, though? If they give us a terrible WrestleMania card for the Mania that's in the States, but they give us a banger of a card in Saudi
legendary
Arabia,
card over there. Yeah,
bro, I would be so pissed because it's like, why? And then for the
that
fans,
would
they
be
probably.
so ass backwards. Like, you can't call it anything. Like, if you want to make like a big show in Saudi Arabia, sure, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But
Yeah.
do you have to call it WrestleMania? Because if I remember reading it right, I believe there was the consideration of calling it Super WrestleMania,
Oh Lord.
which is just
Super
no.
Showdown.
Might as well just call it that. Just call it that.
Call it
Just
Super
call it
Showdown.
that.
Call it Superstar Spectacle for all I care. I mean,
For all I care, yeah.
we already had the greatest World Rumble, and people are already talking about watch Royal Rumble be called the greatest World Rumble next year. They better not do that. I know that much. They better not be called.
Yeah, they better not try to do the 50-man Rumble again. They better not.
Bro,
They better not.
I still can't get with the fact that they did like a 40-man Rumble in 2011, and I didn't
That
like
roster
it.
did not justify it. That roster did not. Let me read you that's funny that you brought that up. Let me read you the lineup for the 2011 Royal Rumble, bro. That 40-man Rumble. This shit is funny.
Because I was
Hold
like,
on.
there was a lot of people that didn't even make sense. Like, you had to get a legend. I think they had commentators be part of this. I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah. So CM Punk and Daniel Bryan opened it, right? So good start. Then you had Justin Gabriel, Zack Ryder, William Regal, Ted DiBiase, John Morrison, Yoshitatsu, Husky Harris, rest in peace, Chavo Guerrero. In 2011, I didn't even realize he was still in the company in 2011. Mark Henry, Chavo.
Apparently, he's on his way back, and so is Vicky.
Really? What the? Okay.
Well, Vicky said she's probably going to be heading back to WWE in a couple of weeks to do something. So,
Oh, probably Evolution. Probably,
yeah.
Probably something with Evolution. So yeah, Mark Henry, JTG, Michael McGillicuddy, Chris Masters, David Otunga, Tyler Rex, Vladimir Kozlov, R-Truth, The Great Khali, Mason Ryan, Booker T. Okay, so that was a surprise return. John Cena, Hornswoggle, Tyson Kidd, Heath Slater, Kofi Kingston, Jack Swagger, Sheamus, Rey Mysterio, Wade Barrett, Dolph Ziggler, Diesel. That was a surprise return. Drew McIntyre, Alex Riley, The Big Show, Ezekiel Jackson, Santino Marella, Alberto Del Rio, Randy Orton, and Kane.
I just want people that's watching this understand how many jobbers he named off in that match. None of them pretty much had a chance of winning this.
I don't know why they did a 40-man.
The only two people that actually made sense winning was CM Punk or Randy Orton.
And then Del Rio wins.
And I would have been okay with them doing a shock by having Santino Marella win.
Oh God! Oh, God.
Bro, no, I would much rather Santino over like Del Rio, because the thing is with Del Rio, he was not
boring.
ready for that. He was not ready.
Wasn't.
Like they brought him in like 2 months before that, 2010, like in the last 3 months of that year, and 3 months later he gets an opportunity at WrestleMania by winning the Royal Rumble, goes on to compete for that match, and it was a lackluster garbage match. What does he do? He goes on to win the Money in the Bank to cash in for the WWE Championship in the height of the Summer of Punk.
Yep.
What are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know why they were trying so hard with Del Rio. It just wasn't connecting.
It wasn't.
They just kept trying.
Because apparently what they wanted was to have him be like that new Rey Mysterio type character that's gonna tap into that Mexican Hispanic market, which I'm not surprised, but it's like, why it's okay to take your time. It's okay to take your time with these wrestlers. Like, that's my thing with a lot of these wrestlers that we have now. I'm not saying a lot of these wrestlers can't be pushed to the main card or the main title scene. Like Stephanie McCool, I don't mind her facing like Rhea Ripley and facing the bigger names, but I don't think you need to risk putting her in the world title picture right now. Let her go after the mid-card title first. See what they're doing with Julia. I think Julia's probably going to win that U.S. title. But, like, have, Stephanie win the IC title for maybe Becky Lynch. Have her have a big deal, have a feud with Becky Lynch, beat Becky. That's a big deal because you're beating a legend in the business. Have her hold that title and help elevate that title, and have her give it to her for like maybe a couple of months, and then after Mania, we can kind of move her up to the main event scene. I think that's the perfect way to do it.
Yeah, I think Stephanie,
she's gonna be.
She's so popular. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. She's so popular that I don't think they could just put her on TV. She'll be fine. I think she has enough of a fan base for her to really just be doing anything on TV, and she'll be fine.
Yeah,
I think with Julia, you gotta like really like push her, and like really present her.
Yeah,
because she's kind of like since her injury in NXT. Yeah, she's flatlined.
Yeah, because it's like right now they're putting her in the U.S. title picture, which I do expect her to win on
Yeah,
Friday.
yeah.
Speaking of that, we know that literally SmackDown is going back to 2 hours starting next week. Apparently, this Friday is the last week of Friday Night SmackDown on 3 hours. I know people have been saying
Thank
that
God.
what the good thing about SmackDown being 3 hours is gave the tag team division new life, help the tag team division as a whole be elevated. But it's like that's fine, but there's still things that they have not done. The women's division, at least
Right.
for like SmackDown women's division, sucks. I'm gonna be real with you. Like they don't have the star power that Raw has. Raw, you have
At all.
Stephanie, you have Becky, you have Liv, you have Raquel, you have Rhea. Like you have numerous Roxanne. You have a lot of key players. Even on the undercard, you have Natalia, you have Maxine Dupree, you have Ivy
Yep.
Nile. Like you have so many different wrestlers, and then on SmackDown, you have Bianca, you have Jade, you have Naomi. Like you got Tiffany, you got Naya, you got Candice, but it's like they don't really use the roster like they should.
Like Io hasn't defended that title since WrestleMania,
Yeah,
and she's
she,
not even planned for Night of Champions. By the way, speaking of Night of Champions, why is it called Night of Champions when you only have two championship matches on the card? I
bro.
don't.
If you
Just
want to
call
be
it
honest
King and
with
Queen of the Ring.
just that part, if you want to be honest, SmackDown is really the night of champions. If you ask me,
Yeah.
you got three title matches, three title matches. You have the tag title match, you have the women's championship match, and then you have literally the women's US.
It's like little things like that that piss me off with WWE sometimes. I'm
Bro,
like,
it's like, are
come
you
on,
not
man.
even trying? It's like you have an opportunity to do something great, but they don't do it. So it's like
It's
I don't know
ridiculous.
what the plan is here because it's like you could have did Stephanie and Julia on the card. You could have done Julia and on the card. You could have put her on there for the
Yeah,
championship.
Julia and Zelina. Yeah.
Yeah, you could have done that. You could have done the tag title match if you wanted to. There,
Yeah.
there's no problem with it. But it's like at the point of just putting them on SmackDown because you don't want them on your main card. It's like it kind of devalues the titles because it's like they don't feel important. They feel inferior to the other titles. So it's like
Like these
I don't,
championships don't mean enough to be on Night of Champions.
dude.
Like,
It sucked that like the tag titles couldn't even, or the women's US or the women's IC couldn't even be defended at WrestleMania when it's like they're in their infancy as title holders.
yeah,
So it's like
ridiculous.
they didn't do anything. So how are we supposed to care about those titles if they're not giving us a reason to care? So it's like
Oh,
that's
shit,
got to
let me,
change.
let me plug up my laptop real quick. Give me like 20 seconds.
No problem, no problem. But yes, the tag titles right now, in my personal opinion, need some love because I have no idea what they're doing right now. I have no idea, none,
I don't get it
no,
either. I don't
because
get it
it's
either.
like the SmackDown tag division. I love it. Highlight of my week. The Raw side. What are we even doing? Are we even trying? No,
Nope.
we're not trying. So what does that tell me? That means why should I care about the tag team division? The women's tag division. At this point, get rid of the women's tag titles at this point. Send them to NXT, burn them, have
I've
Nikki
been saying
Cross
that
come
since
in.
2020. I've been saying
Like,
it since
I feel like
2019, honestly.
honestly, if you want the tag titles to stay a thing, because I feel like WWE won't be bold enough to do it, just send them to NXT for crying out loud. At least NXT has at least enough talent to make up a tag division and maybe have it go across three brands, maybe. But
That's what it
like,
should have been doing. The tag titles should be floating. There should be, if they're gonna have them, they should be floating, and there should be a focus on them titles. Like that's why I wanted back then. Like I think it was Crown Jewel last year. I wanted Jakar Jackson and Lash Legend to win those tag titles so they
yeah,
can leave them in NXT because NXT, despite the fact that they weren't, they didn't like. I think the North American Championship for the women is just like it's just coming up on a year of existing, right? Despite that, before even that, they had so many stories for these women. And what's crazy too is NXT only has one slot a week, 2 hours, and they had way more. They had more stories than the main roster had, both Raw and SmackDown combined. It's
yeah.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, and I keep saying, like right now, NXT comes off as like my favorite branch because of how consistent they are with booking, and on top of that, one thing I give the nod to NXT and Shawn Michaels for is the fact that he's not afraid of trying new things, even if it does not work out. He can at least say, "I've tried to do this, I tried to do that." But why can't Raw and SmackDown be the same way? Like, go go outside of the box a little bit, try new things that people wouldn't expect, see how it goes, push certain wrestlers. It's okay if they fail, but if you at least you could say you put them out
You
there and gave
tried.
them opportunity.
That's
But
how I feel. So that's kind of. I'm gonna dive into this.
mhm,
So I've kind of noticed going back and watching like 2022 Raw and SmackDown compared to
mhm,
now, right? I feel like since TKO has taken over and taken ownership of WWE, I
mhm,
feel like WWE in terms of what they put out as a product on the main roster has taken way less risks than when Triple H initially got the book.
mhm. Yeah.
They play it very safe now in terms of who they push, who they present, all that. Like a guy like Karrion Kross, not my favorite wrestler, but a guy who was mega over. They still won't present him because he's not a made guy. He's not a known guy. But if Karrion Kross was this over in like 22, 23 before TKO or
Oh
before
yeah.
Vince McMahon came around, he'd be on TV every single week, probably wrestling. But they
I,
don't do that, and I don't get it.
no. And it's like I'm not saying Karrion Cross has to be a world champion, but at least put
No,
him out there in the IC title division. Let him go after that or something. At least have him be in stories
just have
and
him on
what.
TV. Just have him on TV.
Yeah, but the fact that what's crazy, the fact that he's getting over on main event,
Yeah,
that's wild.
that's
He's
saying
getting
a lot.
over on main event, but you can't put him on Raw or SmackDown.
It's ridiculous, and
And,
that's. I think it's TKO. I don't give TKO all the blame when it comes to creative, because with the stars that you are being able to present, you're also not doing the best job with them, right?
no.
But like, if this was 2022, like, because 2022, it felt like week after week they were. I don't think. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Hmm.
I don't think if TKO was around during the time of WrestleMania 39, I don't think the tag team titles main event.
Oh no,
I don't
nope.
think those tag team. I don't. I
I don't
don't
even
think the
think they
tag
probably
titles
would have
main
made it on
event.
the card. I don't think they would have made it on the
I
card.
think they would have found a way to fuck up the story. I genuinely
Yeah,
do.
because it's like, and one thing they also done with TKO, it's like it's made it harder for us fans to be able to go to these shows when the ticket prices are like this. One thing I said about the Vince McMahon era, or even before TKO took over, ticket
Yeah.
prices were still good. Like I went to Raw in 2024 in the lead up to Mania where Jay called out Jimmy as a match for Mania. I got great seats, 100 level seated for about $90. Fine. But now they're expecting me to pay almost $150 just for one person.
In the nosebleeds too.
Yes, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. I'm not going to be breaking the bank to go to these shows. And sometimes, and like you said, with a lot of these wrestlers, they play it safe. I feel like one thing I don't like is the fact that they don't give the fans risky options in these matches. I look at the Royal Rumble for an example. Royal Rumble should be used to give somebody who hasn't had that main event exposure at WrestleMania an opportunity. But
Yep.
if you look at its inception, and I can go through all of the names who've won every single Royal Rumble, and you can tell me one thing about each and every one. 2018, Asuka.
Yep.
2019, Becky. 2020, Charlotte. 2021, the first time they actually made a great decision and booked the right person, Bianca.
Yep.
2022, Ronda Rousey. 2023, Rhea Ripley. 2024, Bailey. 2025, Charlotte.
All
Bianca,
established woman. Yeah.
except for
For the most
Bianca.
part.
Bianca was on up and up.
Yeah.
Everybody else has been established. Do you see an Alexa Bliss in that in there? Do you see a Liv Morgan in those scenarios? Do you see
Nope.
any names that are like that who've been putting in work in those spots? No.
Nope.
So I
The only
hope that
one out of those I was okay with was Becky because the story they were
yeah,
telling. I was like,
Becky
that
was
one I'm
cool.
like, fine.
Becky was cool. I
And
would
Oscar
give
made sense
Rhea.
because she was still on the
Oscar
streak.
was so yeah. I would say Becky, Oscar, Bailey was cool because of the story that they were trying to do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Even though they messed it up.
Rhea was okay because I feel like they were trying to really push her to that glass ceiling, and then you can
Yeah.
even say the same thing for Bianca because she was actually a new star to the company. So it's like
Yep.
fine, but why is Charlotte winning a second time? Did Ronda Rousey need to win? And
That
in
was dumb.
2022's World Rumble, it's one of those few Rumbles that really pissed me off. For one, Zelina Vega eliminated Sasha Banks when everybody was claiming for her to win that match.
Which she
And then
should have.
And AJ should have potentially won the men's match, and he gets eliminated by Madcap Moss. Bro, oh my God, bro. I don't understand.
That is, I've gone back and I've watched, I think, 90% of the Royal Rumble pay-per-views. I think that's the worst one by a country mile.
2022 was
You
terrible.
have 2 Royal Rumble matches in that night, because most of them only have 1 Rumble match. That one has 2 Rumble matches in that night, and both of them are bottom 3 all time. Arguably.
And what made it worse is the winners. That was
Yeah.
going to be that. I call that the UFC Royal Rumble because 2 UFC wrestlers just won that, and the fact that Brock Lesnar lost the title
I saw that coming.
and I'm like, oh my
saw
God!
that
As soon as he lost the title, I said, oh my God, they about to put him in the Royal Rumble, isn't he?
Oh, I knew it. I knew it going into the show. I knew they were gonna do it. And
then,
when he lost the title, I told the people I was with. I won $50 off of that too. I told the people I was with.
Right.
I said Brock Lesnar's number 30. I hope y'all know that, and he's winning the Rumble. They all looked at me like I was dumb, and I said put 50 on it.
and what's
And
crazy?
when that music hit, they looked so pissed. They were so pissed. I'm like, I told you, like this
what
was
did y'all think
obvious.
was gonna happen?
I'm
But they
like-
really messed up that story. Like you could have had Seth potentially be in there and be a focal point of that feud. You could have did
Yeah.
Seth Brock and Roman. I would have preferred that.
That
But
story is right there too. That story is right.
and then it's
writes
like
itself.
they even said that like before Roman got taken out with I think he tested positive
COVID.
in day one. That was the butterfly effect because apparently do you know what was supposed to happen that night?
Brock was supposed to win the title, and Seth was supposed
For
to win
Roman.
the WWE title. Yeah,
Exactly. They ruined it. Then you had Brock literally win the championship just to drop it, just to win it back at Elimination Chamber. I'm gonna be honest. They were just doing dumb stuff the entire time.
Anything.
Chamber 2022 was terrible. The 2022 men's and women's Royal Rumbles bad because of the winners.
Here's the thing, right?
Like-
When I rank Royal Rumbles, right, I
Mhm.
put those 2 together because they're both bad for the same reason. They're both bad
Exactly.
for the same reason.
And one thing I don't like is when I feel like WWE gets to the point that they're stat padding. Like this year, I feel like WWE has been doing nothing for the most part except stat padding. The Royal Rumble, they had to give it to Charlotte. For what
2 times,
reason?
yeah.
Like nobody cared to see that. And then what happened? You want to bring her back as a babyface? What happened? The
Got
fans
booed out
turned
of the
out.
building.
It was terrible. She couldn't even get a word out.
She
I
couldn't
don't
talk.
know who was worse. I don't know who was worse, her or Dominic. Because Dominic was getting booed, but people were starting
That's
to
a
cheer
good
him
question.
more.
That's a good question. I don't even know.
And it's like, you did that only to have Bianca go and win the chamber twice. So it's like, both of those just felt like stat padding to me. Because it's like,
Yeah.
I know people didn't want to see Liv win the chamber because we knew it was going to be Liv and Rhea potentially. I get that.
Right.
But it would have still made sense in the sense of the story that we were telling with Liv, Rhea, and Io. Bianca.
That's where I
already,
thought
to
they were
me-
going. That's where I thought they were going.
Exactly. Because they were already telling that story from not Night of Champions, but Saturday Night Main Event where Liv beat Io clean. She lost the title to Rhea. She always owed a rematch, right? Then you were telling that story even in the lead up to Elimination Chamber as well because Liv beat Io by DQ to qualify for the Chamber.
Yep.
So I'm thinking, okay, I know what they're about to happen. And when I seen that they were gonna make Rhea and Io for the title on Raw, I'm like, all right, Liv's definitely winning. She's gonna win that chamber. It's gonna become a triple threat because she's gonna go out there and screw over Io. Comes a triple threat. Liv gets her moment at WrestleMania, and bada bing, bada boom, off to the races. Because Bianca, to me, already had a story going on with with Naomi and Jade. Then we knew Bailey and Roxanne were feuding, or so I thought they were, because they just abandoned that out of nowhere.
Yep.
Like, what were we doing? That could have been for the IC title if you wanted it to be, but that
They blew that off at like, what was it, Vengeance Day?
they didn't even have a match.
Not even on main roster. Yeah, it was like they in a fatal 4-way. They blew that match off.
So it's like I don't know what they were trying to do, and what's crazy, they did Live so dirty at WrestleMania. I stand by what I said. Like,
Yeah.
and you know what's worse? You know what's the worst thing about Liv right now? Besides her being injured, she's been in the company for 10 years. 10 years. She's been in the company since 2014.
Damn.
And she's been up on the main roster since 2017.
17, yeah.
And guess what? She has not won at WrestleMania at all.
What is it with with these women not winning? Like Liv hasn't won, Asuka hasn't won, Sasha only has a tag team win. Like
Bro,
what the?
Liv has not won at WrestleMania, and the first time they actually put her in like a singles, almost like a singles type match, she gets
Yeah,
pinned. It seems like they just buried her at WrestleMania. That's what it felt like to me, because you had Becky Lynch come back and pin her, and I knew as soon as I heard Becky Lynch's music, I said, "Oh, I'm sorry,
I was like,
I
that's
knew it was about to
raps.
happen." I
Yeah, I
said,
was
I
like,
knew
that's
what they were about
raps.
to do. I said, at the very least, I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe Raquel will take the pin or something like that. No,
Liv takes the pin after all her hard work. She takes the pin.
and it's like what pissed me off even more is she was the cat. She's literally been the catalyst for a lot of these feuds to even start. The
Yeah,
start of the Rhea and Becky feud, she was the catalyst for that feud. The beginning, the same thing with the triple threat this year. She was the catalyst for it. But it's
yeah.
like when it makes sense for her to be in these feuds, she ain't a part of them at all.
I don't
And
get it. I don't get it.
that's why I was excited to see that they were doing something, because I thought we was gonna do with her and Roxanne at SummerSlam. But I think, like I said earlier, she's definitely should win the Rumble. I don't think right
At
now.
this
I think
point, yeah.
she needs to. I
At this
think
point,
at this point, I don't know which number. I don't know what number you have her come out. Maybe coming out a number that nobody's won from. Fine, but like she needs to
yeah.
win it. I don't see anybody else winning it right now. I mean, Stephanie, too early. I think you save Stephanie to win the Money in the Bank next year. I think she should be your Miss Money in the Bank.
That's a good call. That's a good call.
Have her win Miss Money in the Bank, because either it's gonna be her or it's gonna be Roxanne next year to win Money in the Bank. One of those two should win. But
Yeah.
I, yeah, they got something to do. But we're gonna get into Night of Champions, because right now we have 6 matches. Surprisingly enough, 6 matches.
They gave us a little extra, I guess.
They gave us one extra because Saudi says, I know y'all do 5 mistakes. Five ain't enough. We need 6.
Oh
So,
man,
so we got 6 matches. So, what is your overall excitement level for Night of Champions?
I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of low. I mean, some of the matches excite me, like Cody and Randy for the first time since Cody's been back. But really, that's I don't know. I've been kind of like I'm following WWE. I'm watching it. I mean, John Cena, CM
Mm-hmm.
Punk for the last time, obviously too.
Yeah.
But like I'm following it and all that. But it's like hard for me to really get invested in stuff. It's just like it feels very stagnant. That's the word,
Mm-hmm.
stagnant. It doesn't feel like anything too crazy is going on. It feels like everything that they have going on is kind of obvious. You know what I mean? Like we know Cena's not losing, for example. Like, it's just so
It seems predictable, and it's like they
yeah,
played it safe with a lot of these, matches that we're getting. Like, I mean, we'll get into the first one for the Queen of the Ring. We have Asuka and Jade Cargill in this.
see
Now, I'm
that's
gonna be real
unpredictable.
with you. It's unpredictable, but I feel like I know what they're gonna do. It's probably gonna. I feel like Jade Cargill is gonna get the win here,
Yeah,
but I'm gonna make a bold prediction here. I think. Speaking of SmackDown, I know we're getting a last woman standing match. For whatever reason, I feel like Naomi would cash in, right? She cashes in on SmackDown. Then we get Naomi and Jade at SummerSlam. Bianca comes back at SummerSlam and aligns with Naomi.
Oh, oh,
And we find out
oh.
that
Okay.
Bianca, she was the one pulling the strings this entire time. Both
And
of them
told
were
her
in
to do that.
cahoots.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I like that. I like
And
that.
then now you have like that whole story going on throughout the rest of this year, where it's like, oh yeah, Jade Cargill, she got to go through both Bianca to get to.
And Naomi.
So that's the way I think they should do it. I
I
think
like
that's
it.
the way you do it.
I like
But
it.
it's like Jade Cargill to me, I do not. I don't. I'm not saying she can't be a main eventer. She has the presence of looking like a main eventer, but in the ring, she does not give
She's
me
not
main
there.
event appeal. She's not there. Like, this is why I said when you brought her over, she should have literally been going to NXT first. She should have went to NXT
Yeah, I think they were trying to capitalize on the fact like we just signed an AEW wrestler. Like I think she was
Yeah,
the second one to jump ship. So it was like,
because it was Cody, and I think then it was her. I think, yeah.
yeah, it was Cody, then her, and then Punk a couple of months after that. And they're like, well, we have to showcase the fact like we brought in a freaking megastar. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they kind of presented her that way, but like you got to back
She's
it up in
not
the ring
there.
as well.
And then
Yeah, she's
people
not.
and people already saying like, oh, if Jade gets screwed out of winning at SummerSlam, people are already saying, oh, Jade Cargill should win the Royal Rumble and face for the championship at Mania. No, no, no. I'm not saying she can't get there. Maybe wait till like 2027 or 2028, depending on where she is at that point. But like,
Yeah,
first she needs to win a mid card title first. She needs to be in the mid card
facts.
title first. If you want to do a singles feud, maybe you do Naomi and maybe like Bianca. That's a bigger match I can see happening and taking place on like a WrestleMania. Not Jade. Jade is
No,
not main event like
not
caliber.
yet.
Not yet. Like, look at the match that she had with Naomi this past year at Mania. It was
It
fine,
was
but
okay. Yeah,
it didn't blow me out of the water considering how you know big the feud was. And it's like this whole tournament I feel like was kind of played safe. Like if they were playing it safe,
yeah.
I said they should have probably had Roxanne potentially get the win over Jade and potentially be in this, because I would have preferred Roxanne and potentially like maybe like a Charlotte or Roxanne and somebody else on SmackDown. I would have preferred that, like, but no, we had to play
Yeah,
it
they're
safe.
trying really hard with this Jade thing, and I mean, I don't hate Jade at all, but it's like,
No,
and she has gotten better. She has gotten better over the
yeah.
years, especially considering like AEW. She wasn't really getting that many reps to get better, like because they don't do house shows, so it's like,
And they were
you know,
doing squash matches with her.
exactly, and that's where you usually get your reps and start to get better. That's why Maxine Dupree got better, but yeah, they don't. And now WWE doesn't do house shows either like that, so it's like, you know, it's
And
hard
it's
for
like,
people to get better.
it really is when you don't give them time to. That's why I feel like a lot of people kind of get injured sometimes because they're not given a lot of time, and then when they're kind of put out there, it's kind of And it's crazy thing. I was listening to a report. This is the last day I'll probably bring up the whole Liv situation. Apparently, she's been doing like a heavier lifting type of workout, and before she used to have like a different build when she first came in, she was more slim, but this one she looked some bit more muscular. It's because of the workout she's been doing. So apparently she's been lifting a little bit, almost twice her size, lifting wise. So I think that's probably why she did have that injury. And they did tell her like if you were to take a different route here, you might become more frequent to get injury prone and whatnot, at least with your arm. But she kind of kept doing it, so that's kind of where that's kind of been. But I one thing I will say is I'm scared for Liv because know how W could be at times where if they feel like you're starting to become more injury prone, they might start to derail your push. They might try to release you. We've seen wrestlers get released on injury. We've seen with Carl Anderson, for example, he got released while being injured. So it's like I feel like that just shows nobody's safe. You could be injured and can still get released. But I think at the same time, she's made herself a household name to the point where it's like I don't think they could afford to release it because I think that would get a huge backlash, no pun intended, from the fans if you were to release her. Dakota Kai is another great example.
Oh yeah.
Like, so I hope that's not the case. And I hope, like we said, she does come back stronger than ever. But I did see that she kind of did tweak that. And she is going to be out for 7 months. So it's a waiting game.
Yeah.
But
I think Liv is too big of a star for them to even try and do anything stupid. I think she's too big of a star.
I'm going to be real with you. If you're talking about like star power in the sense of fans being behind a certain wrestler, I think outside of Rhea, she's like their biggest star right now. With Bianca not being there, I mean, like right now, besides Rhea, she is your biggest star right now. It's not Charlotte. It's not Stephanie Vacour is on her way. Don't get me wrong, but she's not there yet.
She's not there
yet.
Yeah.
Right now, it's those two. Those two are literally carrying the ship right now. So, I think that's what's gonna happen. But yeah, going back to what we were saying, with Night of Champions, I don't know. I have low expectations here as well. I mean, we know one of the matches was going to be AJ and Dom for the IC title, but that's not going to. I think they're probably going to say that for maybe Saturday Night Main Event, or maybe do this at SummerSlam because I can see them doing it at SummerSlam. We get the turn from Finn at SummerSlam instead of Night of Champions because I think that's where they were going to do it. I don't think they probably would do it on night of Saturday Night Main Event. Me personally, I don't think that should happen, especially on the same day as like All In. I don't think they need to do that.
No, not that kind of turn. It's gonna be weird, like Finn Balor turning on one of his partners 2 years in a row if they do that at SummerSlam, though. Because
they were gonna do
last year, and then that's true.
Because I feel like he's just one of those type of people that do. He turns on people. His biggest thing is just turn on people. It's not even getting wins at this point because the fact that you can't get a single win
And
on
he's
your
gonna
own.
lose to Dom. He's gonna lose to Dom. So
I
it's
don't know.
like,
I don't know because I feel like what they're gonna do is have Roxanne align with Finn, right? Maybe
okay.
Raquel does as well, and they screw Finn, they screw Dom over, and he's pretty much no longer champion. Now you have the title with Finn, right? Now it's like you tell a story where it's like Dom is a face, but it's like has nobody. He doesn't have Carlito. JD's gonna be over there, so it's like you can kind of prolong that story for like a couple of months where he becomes like this underdog babyface. Liv comes back at the Rumble in January. Liv is not gonna be on the same side with Dom because she's gonna be like, well, you as soon as I step away, you start to befriend everybody else and you turn your back on me. You tell a story along or story where it's like those two actually make up at Mania, where it's like Dom is
Okay.
put in a position where it's like Liv says you have to choose. Either it's me or it's Roxanne, and he chooses Liv at Mania by helping her win the title from Roxanne. And even in that story, you can have amending offenses between Dom, Liv, and Rhea. Because I think Liv and Rhea are going to be like teaming up, even for let's just like one pay-per-view cycle. I think they're going to do that. So I
Yeah.
think that's kind of what they're going to do. All three of those people can be back on the same batch. Maybe you add Damian Priest back into the fold and let those four kind of be cool. You have Liv, you have Liv, Rhea, Dom, and Damian. I'm fine with
Maybe.
that. You
Yeah.
could do that. I
Just as a
mean,
one-time thing. Yeah.
as a one-time thing, absolutely.
And then they
And
close
now
the
thinking
chapter.
about it, after thinking about it, I feel like they probably would do something like that at Survivor Series. Please don't do that at Survivor Series, y'all. Please no, 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 no. We
Not
don't
at
want to
War
rush.
Games.
No,
Yeah.
no, no, no.
Let's
Oh
not do War
no,
Games.
we don't need war games. But I do expect at least what they're gonna do at Night of Champions with the first match that we talked about. I do expect Jade Cargill to get the win here.
Me
I
too.
mean, who do you have winning? You have Jade Cargill.
I have Jade. Yeah, I think they're gonna go the route of Naomi cashing in on Jade. I could see Jade being the one to take the title off Tiffany and then immediately get cashed in on. I could see them going that route. But they could also do the Seth Rollins trope where she turns into a triple threat and then Naomi wins the title and goes off. But
Or like Naomi like pins like Tiffany Stratton in the triple threat,
something
or
like
like
that.
they,
Yeah.
or the idea I just threw out there. Maybe she cashes in at this Friday on SmackDown because it's the last woman standing. It's
Yeah.
going to be very grueling. She cashes on Tiffany. Maybe we do Naomi Tiffany as the rematch at Evolution. Then we do Naomi
And
and
Jade at
Jade
SummerSlam.
at SummerSlam, and then Bianca comes back and she turns on Jade, aligning with Naomi. Then you
Yeah.
could have that story. That I think that'd be the perfect way to do it and get more people to be invested in that story because people
I was
already
gonna
know the
say,
end
yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Because people already know the end game is gonna be like Naomi and potentially Jade or something like that. We already know that. We
Right.
know that Bianca's gonna come back and they're gonna probably do this big three match. We already know that.
Yep.
Maybe you do have Bianca come back and she turns on, on Jade, but she's not really on the side of Naomi either. She's being herself. She doesn't care about
Right.
anybody. She just wants the title. So that you could do a triple threat at SummerSlam. There you go.
I'm with
Boom.
that. I'm
I
with
think
that.
that's what you should do. That's what you do. I think Asuka's probably gonna get an opportunity at EO, whether if that's gonna be at
Ooh.
Evolution, because that match
No,
is
it
gonna
could.
be fire.
That
They already
shit
teased
could,
it on
bro.
Raw. They already teased it on Raw, and they already had an interaction, even though it was on commercial break. If you were in the States, you couldn't see it, but
Right.
they had a backstage segment, which I think would be really cool to have these two face at SummerSlam.
100%.
I,
I'd be with that.
But apparently, I don't know if that's going to be the case because we've seen Rhea go on the kickoff show for SummerSlam, and then the fans were saying, title time, or something like that. The fans were chanting that at Rhea,
Oh.
and Rhea says, title time? That sounds very interesting. I don't know if it's going to be Tiffany Stratton or if it's going to be EO. So that gives me reason to
It's
believe they're
probably
probably
gonna
going
be
to.
EO.
It's probably going to be EO at SummerSlam. We're going to do EO and Rhea, unfortunately. I'm going to be real with you. Rhea and EO, I'm sorry, as champions, don't do it for me. They don't. They do
Nah,
not do it for me
nah.
as champion.
And it's not even like EO's fault. Like it's just I don't think it's either one of their faults. It's the booking, honestly, because they always like we look at Rhea's reign when she beat Charlotte at WrestleMania, right?
Yeah.
They had her on TV, but not caring about the championship. They have Io
Nope.
Sky just as a background character as champion. Why? Why? Like Io became like one of if not the most over woman on the roster at one point, and they just stopped using her while she's the world champion.
Dude,
I don't
it's
understand.
not even funny. It's not even funny because if you look at like Rhea's reign, she didn't do anything. She didn't defend it like that. She wasn't
Nope.
defending it. And
Nope.
then when she did defend it, it was in matches that we knew she was going to win. None of the people that she faced felt like a threat to her. Then what'd you do? You teased the potential Becky Lynch storyline with me personally. I didn't really care about the feud because we knew what was going to happen anyways. And it's
Right.
like they didn't have a legit build up to make me actually care about the storyline happening. Yeah, we seen a face off, but that does not make me want to see that match or make me buy into the idea of seeing that match at WrestleMania. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like watching that, I didn't care. And then two, we were at the point of Rhea being over dominant. Like nobody felt like
It was
everybody
like, who's
felt
gonna be here now? Yeah.
exactly. And then like literally, we look at literally on the other side of the coin with Io. She won the championship back at SummerSlam 2023 when she cashed in. That
Yep.
whole run from SummerSlam to WrestleMania, she only defended it twice. Once and both were on SmackDown. I don't think any of them were on pay-per-views.
No. Well, she had one defense on Crown Jewel against Bianca, and the crowd was sleep.
And that's the one where they had Kairi Sane come back.
Yep. Crowd was sleep
Lord.
the entire match.
And it shows like how Crown Jewel, at least Saudi fans, have kind of progressed in the sense of they actually care about women's wrestling to an extent when they're
Yeah.
showing like their favoritism to the certain wrestlers and stuff like that. But like, yeah, they did not care about that match at all.
They were
And like,
quiet.
and considering that we had Bianca and Io at that same year at Backlash,
Which was
that
a
match was
banger.
banger of a match.
Yeah.
You had her cash in at SummerSlam, banger, cool, fine. But then you had her hold that title. She didn't do anything. She lost it to Bayley. Then what do we do? She didn't even get a chance to win the title back. I think she just went over to Raw. And then she started to
Yeah.
become more over. And then she wins the women's championship the next year. And we're right back to where she was in 2023 and early
Doing the
2024.
same exact thing.
No, she's not even defending the title. She hasn't defended the title since since WrestleMania.
It's ridiculous.
What are we doing?
It's
And,
ridiculous.
and people will say, "Oh, I hate Io or hate Rhea." No, I hate the title reign. I don't like them as a champion if I'm knowing this is what they're gonna do. If they're gonna do
Every
this
time. Every time.
every time, and it's like I don't. In me personally, I don't think Rhea should win that title back. I know people say, "Oh, she's
No,
about to win
not
it at
anytime
Crown."
soon.
They said, "Oh, what? If she went to the Crown Jewel?" I think what they need to do, give Rhea at least a year break. Give her a year break from the main event scene. Do what they did
I
with
see that.
Bianca. Bianca took at least a year and a half off from the main event scene, and then came back, and people welcomed her back. Rhea right now, for me, needs to take a break from the main event scene because
100%.
it gets tiring when it's the same woman hovering around the title picture. Because it's like, okay, well, the fans know you're gonna give her the title. Give other names that have not gotten that opportunity yet. If there's a story going on, then maybe you put Rhea in the IC title picture. Hey, if you want to make a bold prediction, I'll throw this out to you. Do Stephanie McCool and Rhea Ripley for the Women's Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania.
That'd be great. I think the match would cook. I think people would be invested. That'd be great.
And
Because
it gives the IC
Rhea
title.
is a fantastic worker. I think people forget that. Like Rhea's really, really good. So it's like, and obviously Stephanie's amazing. So I think that match would be great. I think it would elevate the IC title too. You have your biggest star in an IC title match, like that elevates the title as well. I think that would work wonders for everybody involved.
Or if you want, you could do a multi-woman match and maybe do Rhea. You could do Stephanie. You could probably do other people that you may have on the card, like a Natalia if you want to throw her in there. I don't know, maybe throw Raquel in there if you wanted to, something like that. Like it gives something to some importance to the title where it's multiple people going after. You could throw Bailey in there for crying out loud. You could throw different names. You could throw Lyra back in there. You could throw Becky. All of those names, you could go after the IC title to help that title feel important while
Yeah.
your world title is being occupied in the feud that they're doing. So it's like for me, like, yeah, I agree, Devo. Like Rhea and the IC title would be a really interesting division, and I think Becky's doing some great work with the title right now to an extent.
Yep.
I think
Yep.
Rhea and Stephanie can do some magic with that division and have those two women be the anchors of the women's intercontinental title scene for like a couple of months to a year. That's what you can do. And right now, I don't Io. I think, like I said, if Io doesn't lose it to Asuka at anytime soon, have her lose to Roxanne. Roxanne is being featured heavily on right now. You can use this as a plot device to really get this Judgment Day story kicking into like the next gear. To now,
Yeah.
where she comes back, Liv comes back. She not only wants vengeance, but she wants that title as well. Because we
Mhm.
were already setting the stage for her potentially win that title back anyways. So why not do it at Mania? She finally gets her moment at Mania. She wins the Rumble. Fine. There you go. And one thing that it also does, it gives two new stars who have not competed in a singles capacity at Mania, and almost like two new stars at Mania as well, which I am not mad at. We don't always have to have Rhea in the title picture. We don't always have to have Charlotte, Becky. We don't have to always have Bianca or or people like that in a title picture all the time. Have other women who've not had that opportunity. You could do Alexa, you could do Liv, you could do Roxanne. Give those women opportunities to be in that main event. That's what I think they need to do.
Do something
So,
new. Yeah, I'm with
yeah.
you.
So, the next match we're going to be talking about is actually a street fight between Raquel and Rhea Ripley. Now, actually, Raquel actually looked dominant on Raw with the help of
She did,
Roxanne. I'm
but
like,
Rhea's
what
winning.
was this? Yeah,
Rhea's winning.
I don't know. I don't know.
Like,
I don't know. For whatever reason, I feel like it goes one of two ways. Either we can see Roxanne, because I feel like Roxanne is going to get involved here. I do. I think
yeah,
Roxanne's going to get involved. What if she were to help, like, potentially Raquel beat Rhea? I don't know.
that would help the story progress even more.
Because
100%.
then it's like, okay, if we're thinking months ahead, Liv is going to come back. We have that whole, interaction. Raquel's going to be like, well, the fact is, I was helping you as your as champion, and I was getting beat every time. But as soon as you stepped away, I stepped up, and I actually beat Rhea Ripley. So you can add those different shots in the story, which I think needs to be necessary. But it's like Rhea is at the point of the over dominance, and if you are going to reintroduce her into the title picture, I do expect her to get the win here. Unfortunately, I would
Right.
much rather prefer have Roxanne and Raquel get the win, because then even if like she gets the win, right,
Mm.
in Raquel's eyes, she can trust Roxanne, and now with them having the tag titles in their possession, Roxanne gets the other half of the tag title because now she's earned it. She's pretty much been there. She's fought alongside her, and we already seen the first glimpses of that on Raw.
Right.
When was the last time you seen Rhea Ripley get her taste of her own medicine and get put down?
Yeah, it's been a while since she's looked anywhere near weak. Like she's looked dumb. She's definitely looked dumb. Like when she lost to Io on Raw, like she looked
Clean.
dumb. But
Yeah.
right, but she didn't look. She doesn't. She's never looked like she's being overpowered by one person ever,
Nope.
ever. So
I think the only two that ever really did that is either probably like Naya and Raquel, but even then, she still gets the upper hand on them. So it's like, I don't. I mean, with it. But here's the thing: with it being a street fight, they could protect Rhea even in a loss because it's street fight, no DQ. So you could
yeah,
have a situation where she loses, but it wasn't like a clean victory. So I think that's a way they could do it, and this is gonna push that narrative of the Judgment Day storyline even further. I know I've been seeing people speculate online that we could see Nikki Bella show up there, and then we end up having Nikki and Rhea versus not Liv, but Roxanne and Raquel for the tag titles at Evolution. I don't think I would prefer to see that at all. I don't. I'm good. I'm good off of that. But
I'm
if
good.
I'm good off of it, I was surprised that even Nikki Bella showed up back up on television. I'm so like, okay, who let her back in the door,
I don't hate Nikki Bella. I'm just like I'm done with you at this point. Like
bro?
what do you?
Like she
Why?
couldn't even cut a promo to say she threw a few jabs. Don't get me wrong, but she
And
got
I'm like,
obliterated. She got obliterated by Liv
I'm
Morgan on the microphone.
somebody. I'm somebody that gives Nikki Bella a lot of credit. I give her a lot of credit for like opening the doors for opportunities for a lot of people, but I don't need her on my TV in 2025. Just being honest, bro. Just being honest.
Just take your paycheck. I mean, what somebody was saying, the reason why she's on TV because that child support is really is starting to kick in. She owes some money. I think they
That's
said
tough.
she owe like they say she owed like 200 to 300K like a year or something like that. And
Yeah, I did see. No, it was a month or some shit. It was a month or some shit.
Yes, that's probably why she's back because she owe that money. And then
Fuck.
then them tariffs was getting crazy too. Oh yeah, she owes some money.
She
She
cooked,
owes some
bro.
money. She's cooked. No wonder she came back. But I'm gonna
shit.
I see Rhea winning, but I'm gonna probably do something different. I'm gonna say Raquel probably gets the win here. I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna say Raquel probably gets the win, even though it's not likely. I'm just gonna be
No.
different for this one time. But I
Yeah,
think
I'll
they
be
could do
safe
that.
and say Rhea, but I
The
hope
next,
not.
yeah, the next match we're gonna be talking about is Jacob versus Solo for the U.S. Championship. I actually thought this was gonna be at SummerSlam. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Me too.
I actually thought if they were gonna do a match with Jacob, it should have been Jacob versus Damien because they were teasing
They
that.
were teasing it, and they never went and did the one-on-one.
And then we had Money in the Bank. We finally heard those words out of
I
Jacob's
hate you,
mouth. I
Solo,
hate you, Solo. And he beat the living crap out of Solo.
bro. Yeah, it
Solo
was
had
a
it
great
coming though.
turn.
Solo had it coming though. It was
Oh yeah,
gonna
for
happen.
sure, for sure. Because he said on Friday, he said
He says
something about
he said
Jacob
he
being
said
stupid.
no, he said Jacob Fatu is all gas, no
No
brains.
brains. Yeah,
I said,
and
no, why would
Jacob
you
comes
say
out
that?
the corner. Yep,
I said, oh boy, Solo, you don't know what you done did. You don't know
yep.
what you done did. And
Rap.
then what he oh my gosh. And then he comes out on SmackDown. His promo that he had against Solo had me like shook. I was like on the edge of my seat. I'm like, he says, if you ever think about coming this way, you know what's good. And you know what's popping with me, blood. I'm like, whoa,
I'm
whoa,
like,
whoa,
yeah,
whoa.
I was like, like when I heard him at first, I'm like, did I just hear him say that? Did he say
I
blood?
said,
Okay.
I said, I said, we always knew something. We always knew
I was
something
like,
about this bloodline
well,
tribe. We knew we always knew something was up with this bloodline. We always knew there was a reason why they call them the bloodline.
yeah,
Now I know
yeah,
why.
yeah,
Now I know why. But then it's like we know that we're gonna get this match at on this Night of Champions. I don't know what
yeah.
happens. I think Jacob would retain, but
I
it's
hope so.
unpredictable. But it's unpredictable because I don't know what the severity of the Tonga's injuries are. But
Right.
we know JC Mateo will be there. I still can't call him JC Mateo. I call him Jeff Cobb. Like, come on now. Like, can we just call him Jeff Cobb,
Just
please?
call him Jeff Cobb, bro.
And then I also feel like Hikaleo probably would show up. And they already said he was
They
going to
did
line with the
debut him.
bloodline
Yeah, they
on
did
main event,
debut him on main event, so I could see him helping
showing
out.
up and helping Solo. So I don't know if that's the route that they're going to go. I could see it, but I'm going to say safe here. I'm going to say Jacob retains. I
I'm
think
actually
they
gonna
need
go
to.
that route you just put out. I'm going
You're
Solo
going to say
Sikoa
Solo.
by the
Solo.
help of Hikaleo. Yeah,
That's going to be a very interesting story, and you could probably do a rematch with those two probably at SummerSlam.
yeah.
Maybe Jacob potentially wins the title back, or maybe this is their opportunity to help elevate Jacob Fatu to that main event scene after coming out of SummerSlam. I think
I
that's
can see
something
it.
you could do. Or
I
if
can see
they're
it.
because they are going to do a draft. If they're going to do a draft this year, put him over on Raw. Let him go after the IC title next, or have him go
Yeah,
after that World Table. Oh, just thinking about
Gunther
it.
and Jacob. Oh fuck.
Oh, Jacob and Braun Breaker. Do you not see the potential of him on Raw right now, though?
Yeah,
Him and
there's two
Bronson
guys I
Reed.
want on Raw. LA Knight and Jacob Fatu. Those are two guys I
Bronson
need
Reed,
over there now.
Bronson Reed and Jacob. Oh, that's
Holy
money.
shit. Yeah,
You know
that'd
what?
be great. That'd be great.
Yeah, just put him over on Raw. Him and Gunther. Just you know what? I'm sorry. I don't know what they're gonna do. I know they might do Ilya Dragunov. They might want to do Sammy going after the world title if they give it to none other than Rollins. If that's not gonna be the case, and Gunther's still champion, give me Jacob and Gunther at Mania.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be a perfect match. That is a
I'm
perfect
cool with
match to
that.
do.
I'm cool with that.
I'm fine with it. Give that to me all day, every day. Simple.
I'm definitely cool with that.
And then the next match we got to talk about is Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. So Karrion Kross actually gets his wish. He's on a PLE.
But he
Now
gonna
this is
lose.
what that man's gonna lose.
He gonna
There's
lose.
no way Sami Zayn is losing in
In
Saudi.
Saudi. Nope. No way.
If they were to do this, do you know how pissed people would be?
They
Well,
blew
I
Karrion
feel
Kross
like
out of the building.
here's the thing. But the thing with Karrion Kross, if all the stuff that he's been talking, I feel like to an extent he has to back up his words to an extent. Like, like everything he said about the fact that, Sammy can't do it on his own. Sammy doesn't have that killer instinct. If Sammy beats Karrion, that means everything Karrion said was just a bunch of crap. And that we just wasted our time in.
I see what you're saying, but at the same time, I feel like Karrion's ultimate goal is pulling that demon out of Sami Zayn. I think that's his ultimate goal. So, so what I
don't
kind of want from Sami Zayn is, you know how everyone that interacts with Karrion Kross they end up turning heel, right?
Right.
I want Sammy to more so not turn heel because I'm kind of done with
Be
heel
more
Sami Zayn.
edgy.
Be more edgy and be a little bit more dark and more angry.
I
You
would.
know what I mean?
I think the prime example is be like how he was in 2023 when he was going up against Roman Reigns.
Boom.
That's Sammy. If we can
That's the
get
one.
that Sammy,
Yep.
that's what I need. I need that
Yep.
Sammy because this is the guy that I'm predicting to win the Royal Rumble next year. He is winning that Royal Rumble in 2026, and you do the story that I think we're going to pay off. Sammy and Seth Rollins.
Love that. I'd love that. That match with Cook.
There you go.
I don't know. I don't know if he put because I know my vision is Sami Zayn with the world title eventually. That's my vision because I personally see him winning the Rumble, especially because they're in Saudi. But
But
I don't know how you get the title to Seth unless you want to do Sammy and Gunther again. I don't know.
I don't know because it's like the way they're pushing Seth with the briefcase. It looks like he's going to cash in on potentially Cena or Cody.
Yeah, I think he's cashing in on Cody. I'm gonna be honest. He's cashing in on
So
Cody.
I don't know if they're going to have Sammy versus Seth for the WWE Championship.
I'm not mad at it.
I wouldn't be
I'm not,
mad at it,
I
but
mean,
it's
Sami
like,
Zayn's a former WrestleMania main eventer at the end of the day. So if they want to
yeah,
put a WWE title match with him, I'm cool with it.
I'm fine with it. Go for it. But it's like it kind of leaves a little bit of a gap because it's like, what does Punk do? What is like
Roman do, yeah.
yeah, and then you got Cody because I think the story that they're gonna do going into Mania next year is either they're gonna do Cody and Orton for the WWE Championship, or they're gonna do Cody and Punk for the WWE Championship.
That was before this whole Seth heel turn. That was my vision for next year's WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, in the main event of night 2.
I think it might be still be the goal, but it's like right now it's kind of hard to see because it's like Seth Rollins is playing a lot of roles right now, especially with a lot of stories. So I feel like I'm gonna make a bold prediction once we get to the WWE Championship match later on. But anyways, yeah, I think it's safe to say that we're probably gonna have Sammy win this. I would love to see Karen get the win here, but I think, like you said, his goal is to bring that demon out of Sammy to where he becomes more edgy and everything like that. That's the route they're gonna go.
100%.
The next match we are gonna be talking about is the other King, the King of the Ring finals, Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, a dream match, match.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be a Mania match.
I always tell people this. Not every dream match needs to be on WrestleMania. It's okay doing some of these matches and these like dream matches on B level pay-per-views. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. It makes those shows even all the more important. But do I need to say anything else? Cody's winning this.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think it's Cody and Cena at SummerSlam. I think they run
it's
it back.
Cody. It's Cody and Cena. Like,
But I think that feeds into what Cody and Randy can have going on later down the line too.
Yeah, because I think this is going to be that first little trickle to where Randy starts to spiral out of control just a little bit, where he starts to show more heel tendencies. Because I don't know if you know this or not, the match that there's positioning for Randy at SummerSlam is potentially doing Randy versus Nick Aldis at SummerSlam.
Oh.
That is the early match. That's a prediction for the match that they're going to do. I would not mind that. Bring back Nick Aldis. He deserves to be in the ring anyway.
I really want Nick Aldis to start wrestling again, and I want William Regal as a SmackDown GM. So if they go that route, I'd love that. If they go that route, I'd love that.
That would be fire. That would be fire. That's a great match.
Yeah.
Oh, if they actually pushed him, I would love to see a rematch from All In 2018, I believe.
Ooh, Nick Aldis, yeah.
Nick Aldis, yeah, bro. People don't understand how good that match was, how good he was in TNA, how good he was in NWA. Like, people don't understand how good, Magnus was. That's what he went by. Like, people don't understand how good he is. But if he gets in that ring, he can go with the best of them. You can put him in there with Gunther, Follicare. I think he can. He's going to be something special. But I think we can all agree Cody is going to win this. He's going to go on to SummerSlam. But that comes to the WWE Championship. The match that I think got a lot of fans back into wrestling. John Cena, CM Punk, the pipe bomb. We seen the pipe bomb with John Cena over last weekend. The fact that he called out Matt Cardona, he called out Nick Nemeth. This man, he called out Claudio Castagnoli. I'm like, bro.
No fucks given.
Here's the thing. I enjoyed John Cena's promo and his pipe bomb, but it still and can't compare to the OG at it when it
No,
came to
I
CM
saw
Punk.
people trying to push that narrative that it was even remotely in the same conversation. Like,
No, it
absolutely
was
not.
nowhere near that.
I'm like, the pipe bomb changed the business. No,
Do you
no.
not realize? I know a lot of people that I talk to who probably even watched wrestling in years. They told me to face or even on the phone that the reason they came back to watch wrestling was because of that CM Punk pipe bomb. When they
Yeah.
heard that pipe bomb, that brought them back into professional wrestling, and that
Yep.
just shows how a promo like that it really spoke volumes because a lot of things he said really rang true. He literally talked about the whole Vince McMahon situation. He talked about how he's going to have to step down at point and how Triple H and his family were going to take over the business, which they did. He
Yeah.
said that. He spoke. He saw the future. So the
Pretty
fact
much.
that people have the narrative that John Cena's pipe bomb is remotely as good or even better as CM Punk
No.
is crazy to me.
It
Like
was a
there's
great
no way.
promo, but no. There's
No.
levels to this. There's levels to this.
And CM Punk is on a different level. But he did
Right.
get laid out. Now we do know that at the time of recording video, we don't know what the go home math will detail, but I'm pretty sure I think that CM Punk probably will get his lick back. I expect John Cena to potentially retain this, but here's the kicker. I expect Seth Rollins to potentially tease a cash in this match. I think they're gonna.
Oh.
Here's where I'm getting to. He's gonna
Okay.
tease it, but as he's going to potentially cash in, he's gonna have the people around him. Who cuts him off? A returning Roman Reigns
And
comes in,
Saudi.
screws him over because I feel like they're gonna bring back Roman Reigns because you got to bring him back in time for SummerSlam, and this is a great way to get his storyline going for SummerSlam. Have him come in, and maybe you can do Roman and Punk. You could do Roman
Yeah.
and Punk. You could do Roman and Punk versus Seth, and maybe somebody on his side. Maybe you could do that. Maybe you do the one-on-one match that we all want between Seth and Roman. I'm
Yeah.
all for that. All for
100%.
that.
I see that. I forgot about Roman Reigns. I literally
Because it's
completely
like
forgot about Roman Reigns.
I feel like he's gonna be back in time for Summers to do a match. I don't think you're gonna bring him back on a Saturday night main event. Let's be real.
Nah.
But I feel like at the same time, WWE would be petty to go against AEW because it's the same
All
day.
in. Yeah. Yeah.
They probably would do something like that and have some big stuff on that. I'm
If he's
still
not
kinda,
back at Night of Champions, I see him back at Saturday Night's main event.
but I don't understand the people's like take that Goldberg is going to win this championship.
He's
Are
not.
you delusional?
He's
Why?
if this was the Vince McMahon regime, probably I could see it. I could see it. But I think, I personally, I know a lot of people have an issue with this Gunther and Goldberg match. I have no
don't.
issue with it. I have no
I don't.
issue with it at
It is the
all.
last match, and this is the match that he won.
He wants to go. He's a legend at the end of. I feel like
I just feel like
I don't want to
booking.
drag this too long, but like the Goldberg revisionist history in the last like 7 years or so is so crazy, because before he came back, I remember people wanting him back. I remember when they announced him as the pre-order bonus for 2K17. People were excited. People were excited.
Yeah.
So Goldberg has always had this love. I feel like it's his booking the last like with Kevin Owens and the Fiend, where people turned on him, but he's still a legend though.
Because it's like we know he can't probably produce like a great match.
No.
I would think that this match between those two probably goes less than 6 minutes. Like
Yeah, it doesn't
the
go
match-
long. It doesn't go long.
No, I don't think they need to make this like a 15, 20-minute match. Like,
No.
don't do that. Like, I think that's just dragging it at that point. Just have him come back, do 5 minutes, bada bing, bada boom. He hits a jackhammer, he hits probably a spear or two, bada bing, bada boom. He eats the pin, right up in the sunset.
That's
That's
it.
the best thing to do. But I think going back to what we were saying, I do expect probably Roman Reigns to show up, probably cost Seth that win, potentially cashing in. Seth keeps the money in the bank, but we have Roman back. We do that story going into SummerSlam, and then you have John Cena still as champ. You already setting up John Cena and Cody. You're gonna probably have Punk get involved with that whole ordeal and everything like that. You still got
Yeah.
Jay in that mix. You still got Sammy in that mix as well with the kind of bloodline stuff. So maybe they do like a 6-man where maybe they'll do Jay Roman and I don't know, maybe Jay Roman and Punk maybe. I think they do those three. Do a 6-man tag match. I don't know. Gets all three of them all of them the card. Or if you really want to go the extra mile, just do Roman and Seth. It's crazy to think that match hasn't really taken place on a Well, it took place at Royal Rumble, but it needs to take place like on a WrestleMania or SummerSlam. It needs to.
Yeah.
It needs to. But who do you
Yeah,
have winning?
Roman and Seth. Yeah, I have John Cena. I don't think. I think Cody's going to be the one to take the title back, and I think that's probably where we get potentially babyface John Cena. I feel like they're kind of like slowly turning him back, just a little
We
bit.
already seen it. We kind of seen it because like even when he did the pipe bomb, the crowd wasn't really booing him. They were really cheering him. If
No,
anything,
and that was what turned CM Punk face back in the day too.
that yeah,
Because CM Punk was a heel doing that promo, but that's what turned him face when he came back.
yeah. So yeah, we pretty much went through everything that there is to. I mean, if you have any other thoughts about anything that we may have talked about, or be more than free to say that.
I mean, I hope Night of Champions is a good show. I'm more so looking forward to SummerSlam. I'm potentially going to SummerSlam. I'm not too sure yet, but I hope SummerSlam is what is the turnaround for a spark again in WWE. I feel like it's just very stagnant right now, but I feel like if they you know get things right in the right order, get things back to where they need to be, I think we can. There's a lot of, because we talked about a lot of really good potential things from the women's division to the men's division to the mid card scene. Like I think there's so much good that they could do. So I hope SummerSlam is where they start to set that up again.
Yeah, because it's like we already know when after Mania they have like their little stagnant period where things kind of get a little
Yeah,
slowed down a little bit, but they start to pick up in the summer as we head into SummerSlam, and I feel like they're trying to get there, but it's not really hitting like it
not yet,
should be.
not
But
yet.
I think SummerSlam could be used as like that reset.
Yeah,
Have SummerSlam be used as that reset for a lot of your stories that you might be want to tell going into the rest of the year and then leading into the Royal Rumble and then WrestleMania. Because I feel like the way I see it, if I had to predict some of the matches for Mania, I think maybe you could do Sammy and Seth. That should be one of your matches. And then on the other side of the coin, maybe you do Randy and Cody for the WWE Championship, maybe. Then for like the women's title, maybe you do, I don't know, maybe you do Bianca and Stephanie, maybe. It
I was
maybe
seeing
Stephanie.
Bianca and Rhea. I was looking seeing Bianca and Rhea. They finally do that big one-on-one because I could see that
Yeah.
as a main event. I could see that
Wait,
as a
wait,
main
wait.
event personally.
You're onto something because they are going to be doing a draft this year, and one of the things is they do plan to put Rhea over on SmackDown. Have Rhea win the Chamber.
Yeah,
Rhea Ripley wins the Elimination Chamber. She faces Bianca at Mania. We get that match.
yeah,
Then on the other side of the coin on Raw, we do Roxanne, Liv Morgan. That's already a good start. And then
there
your
you go.
women's card, then your women's card titles, you got a lot of names. You got Tiffany, you got Nia, you got Stephanie, you got Julia. All those names and more, like Naomi, like
Yeah,
Jade Cargill, Natalia, Raquel.
there's
A
so
lot
many
of
names,
names
so
like
many
that you could
names.
put in that stratosphere for the women's mid card titles. Like you
Yeah,
still got Lyra in the mix. You got Becky. You got Bailey. You got Charlotte. You got Alexa.
yeah,
Honestly, I feel like Charlotte and Alexa might be a singles match. They might even do that for the U.S. title potential. I don't know.
yeah, man. There's so
It's
many. There's so many different avenues that can go. I just really hope the stories that they tell on the way there keep us hooked enough for us to care at the end of the day. Because that's you can book whatever you want, but there's got to be a story for us to give a damn.
exactly, and it's crazy. I just thought about like Charlotte and Alexa. People have been making the caveat that maybe Charlotte and Alexa are your next tag team champions potentially. I can see
I've heard
that.
that. I've heard
And I
that.
can see it happening. Maybe you have them potentially be buddy buddy for a little bit, and then you start to kind of see where they're not really on the same page, and that goes into them having the downfall, and it becomes a singles feud, maybe going into WrestleMania. I think
I can
that'd be
see
a
that.
great WrestleMania feud. Having Alexa, maybe you put the women's U.S. title picture in there. That helps elevate because you have two big names going after that. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
You could do you got maybe Rhea over in the women's division on SmackDown. I think with the stuff that we're coming up with, WWE, pay us. Just pay us. We're giving you great storylines, bro.
Like we got you, bro. Just just
Like we
just hit
got
me
you.
up, slide me like a cool 100, and I got you, bro.
Yeah, hey, as long as I get 100K on YouTube, we good. We good. I got
We
it from there.
good. We
We
good.
good. We can do this for a living. We can do this a full time thing. We're good.
Type shit.
Like, come on now. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that is the end of our podcast episode, you guys. I did leave Mo's this Instagram, Twitch, all that stuff in the description if you guys want to go support him, get him to 15K, get him to 15K. The man recently just surpassed 10K early this year, so get him to 15K by the end
Yes,
of
sir.
2025. You guys, he's gonna be going live on Twitch. I think later on for some
Yeah,
SmackDown versus
about like
Raw,
20 minutes. Yeah,
SmackDown versus Raw. So hey, y'all go watch because he got the gaming content on lock, y'all. Hey,
hell yeah.
so y'all go support him on Twitch and all that good stuff, and you guys can go follow him in the description as well. Mo, do you have anything else you want to share before we head out?
Nah, man. I appreciate you bringing me on once again. It was a good conversation, longer than last time too. So that was even better.
Yeah,
So yeah, y'all make sure y'all tap in with me. Trying to get more consistent on YouTube. I have one video in the works right now that I'm trying to edit up. Twitch, I'm on there every Wednesday, every Sunday. We
mm-hmm.
usually do like older games and stuff. Wednesdays, I let the audience choose what we're doing, and Sundays, I choose the game myself. But yeah, we do a lot of nostalgia shit on there. Of course, we have the Rated M podcast on the YouTube channel as well. Leo's been on a couple times. And yeah, just make sure y'all tap in with us. It's a year of growth for everybody. So,
Yeah.
and make sure y'all subscribe to Leo as well.
Yeah, go subscribe to Mo. Subscribe to his channels. Go subscribe to the No Name Wrestling podcast because he's over there
That
on
too.
Sundays as well.
That
So you
too.
guys can go over there with him and Luis and all those and G G G baby as well. So you guys go subscribe to their channel as well. So because they be dropping podcasts every Sunday. So if you guys want
Yes,
to
sir.
get their opinions on all things in the world of wrestling, go tune into them on after every PLE because we got a PLE on Saturday. So you might get their opinions for that as well. So you guys can subscribe to support everybody in the channel, everything like that. But with from
Yes,
myself,
sir.
from Mo, Too Sweet, Party Handshake, and we'll see you guys in the next episode or podcast, wherever it may be.
Yes, sir.